Let us prepare in mind, body, and spirit for our service today. Today's reading comes from Joyous Living by Petra Wells and Christian Sorensen. Why do bad things happen to good people? This ancient question is one of life's mysteries. We can never really know the answer to why. You may not know why something is happening the way it is, but one thing you can know for sure: good will come of it. Look back over your life and see how many times something happened that you thought was bad at the time, but actually is part of what brings you to being who and where you are today. Notice when something bad turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Now, demand to make good out of what is going on right now, even if you don't know or can't imagine what that good might be. Please take these words into a few moments of silence with me. Oh, what a glorious, wondrous moment and instant this is. This instant where we are right here now as God. We are centered in this oneness, in this beauty, and in this peace, and I am so grateful. I am so grateful for this coming together of all of us, for this moment, for this service, for everything that is occurring right here and right now. I know that it is so blessed, and we are so uplifted and blessed and supported. I'm knowing that Reverend Cece is divinely led, divinely inspired, and divinely uplifted, and the voice that comes through her is the voice of Spirit, the voice of God. I know that our music ministry is such a blessing, and that we are so grateful for it. We're so grateful for each and every one of us here. And I know that our children in the back are divinely blessed. I know that all is in divine right order with this service. And I say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this wondrous day, this wondrous, blessed day and service. Thank you. So be it, and so it is.
I thought I was going to have to turn that on, and it's magically on, so that's cool. It's cool. I love magic. Happens all the time. The other day I was getting ready to sit down and think about what I was going to say today, and I sent a quick email over to Herman Chandaramani, who it's his job to come up with the story for the kids every week. And I just gave him a quick rundown, and he said, I have the perfect story. And he sent me an email, and it was exactly the story I was going to open with. So you can talk to your kids about this story. It's so nice to be on the same wavelength. Here's the story. There was a king in Africa who had a friend, and his best friend was always remarking about everything. It's good. Everything that happened, he said, it's good. It's good, no matter what. One day the king and this friend were out hunting, and the friend loaded the king's gun and handed it to him, but he loaded it wrong. So when he fired the gun, his thumb got blown off. And the friend said, "This is good." And the king said, "I'm bleeding, you idiot. How can it be good?" And he took the friend back and threw him in jail. And about a year later, the king went hunting by himself and was captured by cannibals. And they took him to their village, and they tied his hands and stacked the wood around him and stuck on a pot and stuck him in the pot. And then they got closer, ready to light the fire, and saw that he was missing a thumb. And it was taboo to eat anyone who was not whole. So they untied him and sent him on his way. And he was filled with remorse, and he rushed back to the prison and said to his friend, "You were right. I'm so sorry. It was good. I really feel so terrible that I put you in jail. And it was such a bad thing to do." And the friend said, "No, it was good." And the king said, "How could it be good? I owe you my life, and I put you in jail." And the friend said, "If I hadn't been in jail, I'd have been hunting with you, and they'd have eaten me." Sometimes it is good, whether we know it or not. It's an illustration of something that sages have said forever, and that is that there is no situation that we can call bad that doesn't have good in it somewhere. And there's no situation we can call good that doesn't have some darkness in it somewhere. You all know what this is, right?
Yeah.
This is an illustration of the polarity of human life. There is a white side and a dark side to the yin-yang symbol, but in the white there is a little dot of darkness, and in the dark there is a little dot of light. And that's sort of how life is. Whatever it is that we might call dark or bad, there's a trace of light in it. And in everything that we call light, there is a trace of dark in it, because that's sort of like what being human is all about, is discerning those kinds of opposites. The human part of us lives for those kinds of distinctions, whereas the spiritual part of us wants to wrap our arms around the whole thing and try and make it, try and experience the unity of it all. And we walk through all sorts of circumstances, and some of them we call awful, and it turns out there is this seed of something beautiful in them. And later we see the gifts that situation brought to us that we couldn't really have even anticipated. Gifts that we may not have received any other way. And I don't want to downplay the pain of our experiences. When the stuff hits the fan, it sucks, and it sucks big. I agree. I mean, there's no way around that. It hurts. Pain is part of being human, part of walking through this human existence. But there is an intention that we can set that is to be able to look for the good in every situation, to be able to look for the seed of beauty in everything that is not, we call not pretty, to follow that little seed of light rather than get stuck in the darkness, and get sucked into even darker darkness. I have a friend and colleague who's the senior minister in San Jose, California, and if I worshipped at anybody's feet, it'd be his. He's great. His name is Edward Villun, and he gave a talk one day, and he said, there's two ways to live life. One is as though God is all there is, and the other is as though God is not all there is. Those are the two ways to live life. We can live as if everything is on course. Everything is part of a flow of the one permanent thing in the universe, life itself. That's the only permanent thing there is, life itself. We sometimes call it God, we sometimes call it universal intelligence, we sometimes call it first cause. It's the one constant reality that's always there. And we can live that way, or we can live as though God is not all there is and look for the things that we stumble over and build them from molehills into mountains. We can object when the good things change, and we can object when the bad things don't change fast enough. Isn't that what we do? It's exactly what we do. We don't want the good stuff to change, and we don't want the bad stuff to hang around at all. The intention is to demand to see the good. I demand that I am able to see the good in whatever is in front of me, whatever I call not good. That's the way we make the good welcome in our consciousness, because the only way we ever see it is by being open to it. We can gripe and bellyache about the length of time the not good is taking to change, or we can say, I'm going to keep my eyes open for the good stuff that I know is here somewhere. We can let it be the universe's schedule rather than our own. You know what I mean? We can have faith that this thing, this life, this God, this intelligence is unfolding at work, and that if we look for it, we will see the good eventually. Sometimes you can see it when you look back over your own life. Look back just 10 years even, you know. How did you think then? Where were you then? How spiritually balanced were you? Emotionally balanced were you then? And looking back from the vantage point of today, see how much you have grown and changed and expanded. Can you spot those terrible events they really were terrible at the time, yet they gave you something that you wouldn't have otherwise? And if you go back even farther, I have this really selective memory. And I can remember in my 20s some things I really wish I couldn't remember. And they're clear as a bell, right? I can remember getting my heart broken. I can remember embarrassing myself roundly and soundly and regularly in public, because I always back then was just a little drunk. More like a lot drunk. I can remember my reaction to losing people I loved that was just simply to shut down and not even acknowledge that I cared about them. And when I look at how much I have grown through those events, because of those events, if I hadn't embarrassed myself enough, I probably never would have gotten to the point where I said, I'm giving this stuff up. When I did, which was 20, forgot how old I was for a minute. 28 years ago. 28, I have to subtract whatever I am, minus 30. 28 years ago, which led me on a spiritual path, which has led me into all kinds of crazy adventures, including becoming a minister. I never would have done that. I know I wouldn't have, because I was an atheist, a bitter, kind of closed down, very insecure. It just never would have happened. It just never would have happened. So if we can think back to that period, we can also think forward 10 years from now and imagine, if you're like me, your growth has taken on an accelerated pace. Whoa, some days I can't even look in the mirror 2 days running and recognize myself. It's so amazingly fast. So if I look 10 years down the road, I think, wow, I have no idea where I'm going to be, but I know it's going to be bigger and more expansive and more wonderful, and it's going to contain gifts I can't even see at this point. I know that. There's an Indian poet, his name is Rabindranath Tagore, and he wrote, "Faith is a bird that feels dawn breaking and sings while it's still dark." I love that image. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. If we can, it might still be dark, but if you can sing the song of welcome to the light, it will show up for you. It will. You will see it way off on the horizon and welcome it into your life. And that lets us sing the song of welcome to all the circumstances, no matter what. We don't get stuck in the bad and say, I'm going to live here forever. I know people like that. I know people who are so fearful and so angry and so afraid of life that they stay in the dark forever. And they sort of never wake up to the fact that there's light all around them if they will open up to it. It's an attitude, it's an intention that we sort of have to set every day. We sort of have to say, today I am going to look for the glimmer of light in everything. And be grateful. Be grateful for life itself. It is an attitude of faith, and it's an attitude of gratitude that lets us live that way. Recently I was at a workshop with someone who, actually just yesterday, who was struggling with some real difficulties in his early life. And he said, I'm sick of dealing with this. Sick of dealing with it. I've been dealing with it for so many years, and I've spent thousands of dollars, and I just want it healed and over with. I'm sick of it. And the facilitator said to him, what I see is that you are strong enough now to deal with some of that stuff that's coming up for you. That's the reason it's coming up. You've changed, you've grown, you've become strong enough to deal with the past. You're more able to heal the damage. Look at, and the facilitator said, I'm sure of that. And I'm sure of it too. I'm sure that is exactly what was going on. It's coming up. What comes up for us is because we are able to handle now what we couldn't handle before. And so if we look for, even in those situations, that glimmer of light and follow it out and through, we come out into this brilliantly lit landscape of life. We have the privilege of being able to assign meaning to everything that happens to us. We have the privilege of giving the ultimate meaning to every experience in our life. And that's the great lesson of so many sages and wise people. And it's the great lesson of Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He was in a concentration camp, for goodness sake, starving and watching his friends and relatives die. And he realized that he was the only person who could assign the ultimate meaning to what was happening to him and to his own life. Kind of makes my little issues look small. And if he can find that spark of glimmer of light and follow it out, so can I. We get to choose whether crisis is a terrible thing or the universe's way of setting up the dynamics necessary for a change that is inevitable. That's what crisis usually does. It sets up conditions through which an inevitable change can unfold. Have you ever been in a relationship that you stayed in way too long? Way too long. Sometimes we get paralyzed, and what ultimately happens is there's a crisis, which boosts both people out of the relationship and into what's supposed to be next for them. And they don't get there any other way. Crisis is often like that. It is the thing that pushes us, and change is always happening. We can't avoid it. It is the one, the only permanent thing is life itself, and the form is always changing. So we can't avoid it, and it happens, and if we demand to see the good in it, things start to happen. Things start to happen more gently. They start to happen more fluidly. We don't sometimes have to have those great big eruptions to throw us to where we need to be next. The other day I was reading an article about a woman whose name is May El Khalil, and she was a long-distance runner. She's Lebanese. And she used running as her meditation. It's where she dreamed her really big dreams. And then one day she got hit by a bus. And she was in a coma for months. She was in the hospital for 2 years. When she came back to consciousness from the coma, the doctor said, you'll never run again. During the 2 years she was in her hospital bed, she made the decision that she didn't want this to make her life black and dark. She wanted it to be something good. And so she said, if I can't run, I'm going to make it so other people can. And in her hospital bed, in between I think she had 36 surgeries, she started to envision a goal of creating a marathon in Beirut, which at the time, like always, was torn with war. She founded the Beirut Marathon in 2003, and there were 6,000 runners the first year. And it wasn't just a running event, it was a peace event. It was the Marathon for Peace. And today it is one of the largest sporting events in the Middle East, and it continues to be a place where conflicts can be resolved in circumstances that no one could have foreseen, but conflicts get resolved there. When the Lebanese Prime Minister was assassinated, May planned an event called the 5K United We Run, and she had 60,000 people show up for it. Even in her hospital bed, almost having lost her life, she said, I am going to look for the little speck of light in this situation and follow it out of the darkness. She's on TED if you ever want to see her talk. She's filled with light, and her life is filled with light. And again, she makes my little problem seem insignificant to me, and it makes me want to say with Emma Curtis Hopkins, who taught our founder, Ernest Holmes, this too is good, this too is God, this too is for me, and I demand to see the blessing in it. I demand to see the blessing in it. That's the work. It's just remembering that life is for us, even when it doesn't look that way. Life is for us, and we can use our will to keep our eyes focused on the possibility of the blessing that's there, on the possibility of the blessing. Emma Curtis Hopkins also said, the only thing worth working for is the right state of mind. And I say amen. It's the only thing worth working for. We work to keep and have the right state of mind, the state of mind that is balanced and peaceful, the state of mind that remembers that life is good even when it looks not so good, that remembers that life is really all about change and expansion and growth and evolution and growing a bigger heart. The state of mind lets us see the opportunity in every moment, every moment. It lets us sort of release the grip on what we have in our hand and open our embrace to what's coming. To look forward to what we are becoming. To embrace the only permanent thing, which is life itself. And to remember that we're part of it, and it's part of us. It's part of us. And it is good, even when it doesn't look good. It's good. It's for us, no exception. And so join me, please, in a moment of turning consciousness within, turning inward to that spark of light that is the essence of your very being, that resides right at the center of yourself, and is the place that is connected to the self, that is the universe, that is God, that is the source of all life. Whatever that energy was that spoke into being this entire universe and that continues to push out time and space in front of itself so that it too can expand and grow and evolve and become. The proper translation is, I am what I will become. That's what God said to Moses. I am what I will become. And like that source of life, we are all becoming, always. Because we are the life, the same life as that infinite intelligence. We participate in that life. We are the place consciousness can know itself and see itself and meet itself in the seeming other. We are the place where we learn to accept these great truths of the universe, like there is a spark of light in every darkness and there is a spark of darkness in every light. That is the human experience, and the divine experience is all of it. All of it. And that's what we are here to experience every single day of our lives. And so I simply know for each one of us that our hearts grow and embrace and expand all that we are becoming, all that we have already been, and all that gives us a springboard to becoming. That we embrace life itself with joy, with anticipation, with eagerness to know who we are becoming and how we will express ourselves tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. And I know that the light increases in each one of us every single day as we say yes to that expansion and change and growth and evolution. The light simply grows and grows and grows as our hearts grow and grow and grow and become capable of receiving and giving all the love there is. And so I just say thank you. I say thank you for this moment. Thank you for this life. Thank you for each person who is here today to celebrate living, being, breathing, existing, expanding, and growing. Thank you, God. And so I let it be, knowing it's already done. And we say together, and so it is.
I'm so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. 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 I am so blessed.
Yes, I am. We have an opportunity right now to give in support of the work of this community. And we also have an opportunity to stop for a moment and just be grateful for life and for all of the blessings that exist in it, for all that we have and all that we are, for all that we experience. Gratitude is the attitude of welcome. And so we welcome more good into our life each day. So if you aren't able to give today, or you give by automatic withdrawal or otherwise, as the basket goes by, simply bless the abundance of this community, the growth of this community, the health of this community, so that we may spread our light out into the greater community, so that we may continue to do all the work that we do here and even more. Just take a moment to send that little light of blessing. And affirm with me, please. Gratefully I give with an attitude of abundance. I know that as I give, so do I receive. And so it is. the kids. I hope that doesn't mean they're eating all the desserts already. It could happen that way.
It could.
We do have a picnic today. The weather is cooperating, so head on all the way back. Just keep going down the hallway until you can't go any farther, and you'll be there. And then you can go out the patio doors. The grill is out there and fired up, and we have stuff for all palates. Meat eaters, non-meat eaters, vegetarians, vegans, all of us. And so please join us for today's picnic. We have a couple of announcements. We've created an informational newsletter that will be circulated here, but also out in the greater community. Part of it is to let people know what all of you do. You know, people are always calling me saying, who does handyman work? Who does this? Who does that? Who teaches guitar? Who does, you know, all those kinds of things. And so we're trying to let ourselves know, but also in the greater Miami Valley. So it's an avenue for marketing that will be really affordable and will get people's attention, the people who are looking for you, and also up the profile of the center. So you can talk with Clara in the office about it, or you can talk with Chris Ellis or Patty McCormick, or right over there, for more information. It's really, Clara is so wonderfully creative. It's turning out to be a really nice thing. It's going to be really good. Cooking with God bidding this week and next week. It's open right over there. And so there's catalogs of the events. Go over and look at them. Decide what you'd like to attend and place your bid. Each event has a maximum number of attendees. For example, if I have room for 8, I would host 8 guests. The top 8 bidders get to go. So they pay their bid amount to the center benefits, and they get to go have a wonderful event with like-minded people. So place your bids now and check back to make sure someone hasn't outbid you. If they have, you know, you can always bid higher. That's perfectly okay. It really is. But take a look. We have some great events coming up from now until the end of the year. And our welcome center and our welcome team is now officially on duty. If you have any questions at all, if you're relatively new and you don't know where something is or you want to know more, ask the person who'll be over there after service. There's also a literature rack which has a whole bunch of information about our what would you call it, our international organization that we're part of, and also about our center. Next Sunday, after service, come into the social hall to check out all the places that are available where you might serve this amazing community. It's really such a privilege to be involved in a team or a group with the people that are here. This community rocks. That's all I can say. Y'all rock. Y'all rock. And so you can come and meet the people who lead up the service teams. We also are going to entice you. We have a food contest, like who has the best food, right? So come in and have a little snack and meet the team leaders and see where you might be interested in playing with us. That'll be next Sunday after service. Foundations class, which is our beginning, it starts the beginning class, sort of the foundations of science of mind, begins tomorrow. It's the AHA class. So there's a sign-up sheet by the bookstore door, and I got 2 more announcements. November 7th through 9th, I am going to facilitate a retreat at Grailville, which is called the Path of Wisdom, a retreat for mystics. It's going to be awesome, and there's only 12 spots left, so register soon, please. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful event. And finally, if you would like prayer support for anything after the service, grab one of the beautiful practitioners in the teal or white shawls, and they will give you a 1-minute miracle, we call them. And don't forget to come back and stay for some food after the service. But hey, what's up with the kids today? What's up with the kids today?
Come on up, you guys. Up here. There you go.
What's going on?
There you go.
Do you have anything you want to tell us, Mr. Mark?
Today was play day.
Did you have fun?
We figured out how to play.
My name is Ethan.
Hi, Ethan. How are you?
Good.
Did you have fun today?
Yeah.
Good. What'd you do?
This is Christopher.
Hi,
Christopher.
And this is Shepherd.
My trick is
And
rolling.
this is Mackenzie.
Mackenzie.
Ray Ray.
Ray Ray.
And Crystal.
Crystal. And your trick is rolling?
Okay.
Cool. Rolling. So what did you do outside?
we did one-handed cartwheels. She taught us.
That is awesome. I bet he didn't. Yeah, we want to see a picture of Mark. No. We have to start in our minds, right? We have to start in our minds. Should we sing to these guys? Let's sing to them.
1, 2,
And then I will get. Thank you for teaching Mark to do one-handed cartwheels in his mind. That's very good. Love it. I love it. Ken had something he wanted to announce.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Today, at today's picnic, we're going to have a 50-50 raffle, where 50% of the proceeds go to the winner and 50% go to the church. It's high protein, high quality protein, with fiber. And so please check with me if you'd like to get a ticket. We're only going to sell 100 tickets today. They're going to be $2 a piece, or 3 for $5. And we'll have the drawing at 12:30 outside at the picnic. And please be present to win. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Let's stand up for our closing affirmation and our closing song. I am a light in this world and I shine.
I'm shining.
He is shining, he is. But first, there is a song of the universe and I sing it.
There is a song in the universe and I sing it.
There is a hymn of praise and I praise it.
There is a hymn of praise and I praise it.
There is a life of joy and I live it.
There is a life of joy and I live it.
And so it is.
So it is.
Have a truly fabulous week, everybody.